Hi, my name is Heather, and welcome to another episode of my Etsy workshop series where we'll be building our digital shops from the ground up. Today, the digital item that we're going to be creating is hand-drawn arrows. Some variations on this are you can do just hand-drawn doodle elements, dividers, frames, borders, all kinds of things that just can be used in design projects, and they have that hand-drawn quality to them. I use these in my projects all the time, whether it's YouTube videos or projects that I'm doing for clients, all kinds of stuff. I love using doodle elements. So I'm excited to make some myself. I'm going to do this in Procreate, but you can use whatever digital drawing software that you like. I'm going to press the plus sign to create a new file, and I'm going to do a paper size. The size that I have here is 8.5 by 11, and it's 300 dpi. It's very important that you do this at 300 dpi. I'm not going bigger than 8.5 by 11 just because my iPad can't handle it because it's an older iPad. But if you have a newer one, then you can go like 16 by 20, and that would be even better. And this is my paper here, and I'm going to change the color to black. So in Procreate, if you just double click all the way on the bottom here, then it'll snap to black. I have a lot of the brushes from Bardo Brush here. They're like my favorite brushes. I love her brushes. And I like my elements to be kind of more textured when I'm using them for my projects. So I'm going to use some nice textured ones, but you can do whatever is your style. So you might like the ones that are more clean and just like an ink drawing. You can do those too. It's important to remember that there are people out there that have the same style as you and that like your style. So don't try to do something that's not your style because you're just not going to be as good at it. If you do something that is specifically your style, then you're going to do a much better job at it. So I'm going to use more of like a scratchy brush, and I'm going to draw my first arrow here. Actually, let's go a little bit bigger. That way it'll be a better quality because it'll be bigger, and they can use it for bigger projects. So with each arrow I draw, I'm going to create a new layer. So I'm going to make a new layer, and now I'll draw another one. And you can experiment with like the size of your brush and whether you go lighter or harder when you're making your arrow. And of course, feel free to experiment with other brushes too. And you can just go ahead and draw the rest of your arrows. If you accidentally draw multiple ones on the same layer, like I did here, then you can just grab your select tool and select the arrow, swipe with your 3 fingers, and do cut and paste. Now I've reached my maximum layer limit, which is 19 layers. So this is going to be my arrow collection. Now I'm going to go back to the gallery. I'm going to rename this, and I'll name it All Arrows. Now I want to save each arrow out as a separate PNG file. So I'm going to click Select up here, and I'm going to select all arrows and do duplicate. Now I'm going to rename this one to Arrow. And this is important because when we export it, we're going to want the exported files to be named Arrow 1, Arrow 2, Arrow 3. So that's why we're naming this Arrow. Now I'm going to click on it, In order to make exporting this really easy, I'm going to put each arrow in the same position here. So one thing that's going to really help with that is if we go to Settings, Preferences, Gesture Controls, go to Layer Select. I want to make sure that I have touch on. So it says a finger touch will invoke layer select. And you can always come back here and turn it off later if you want to. You'll just go to the same menu and then just click it off. So now I'm going to do done. And what this does is that now I can click on a layer and that automatically selects it. So it just like detects which layer I'm clicking on. So I can click on this arrow, and then if I do the select tool, then it grabs that and I can just move it. So I'm just going to select each of these and lay them right on top of each other. And you'll see why in a minute. So I just click to select it, and then I click my select tool up there, and I'm just going to move it. And if you have one that is like a weird orientation, like this one goes up and down, I can just rotate it however I want it to be. So this is how it's going to be saved for the customer. So you can just kind of rotate it however you want it to be for the customer. Like I probably want all of them to be consistent, so I want them all to be horizontal like that. Now that I have these all in one little jumble right here, I'm going to click the wrench and I'll go to Canvas, crop and resize. And I just want to crop this as small as I can really get it, but I don't want to cut off any of my image. So that's pretty good. And now I have all my arrows on these different layers, and I just need to turn off my background color. So that way we will save them as transparent PNGs. And I'll click the wrench. I'm going to do share. Down here where it says share layers, we're going to do PNG files. And then this part is very important. You don't want to do save 19 images. You want to do save to files. So I'm going to click that. And now I can just find somewhere to put it. So I'm going to make a new folder that's going to be Etsy Digital Shop. And this is where I can save all my digital shop products. And now in here, I'll make a new folder that's going to be arrows. So now we're inside of the arrows folder, and I'm going to do save. So now if I go to my files, and I'll go in my Etsy Digital Shop folder and then arrows, and here are all my arrows. Now I want to package them for the customer. So I'm going to click select, select all, and down here I'll click more, and I'm going to do compress. And that's going to put them all in a zip file so that you have one file that you upload for the customer. I'm going to rename this also. I'll name it arrows, and that is ready to go. The next thing that we want to do is create our thumbnail for Etsy. So if I go back to Procreate and I go to my gallery, I'm going to click select. I'm going to grab my all arrows file and I'm going to duplicate it. And now I'm going to rename this to arrows thumbnail. So if I click on that, we need to resize this to be the right thumbnail size for Etsy. So I'm going to click on the wrench. I'll go to Canvas, crop and resize, settings, and a good thumbnail size for Etsy is 3200 pixels wide by 2400 pixels high. So if I click on these, I can go to pixels. For my width, I'm going to do 3200, and then for my height, I'm going to do 2400. And since this is on a screen, we're going to do 72 dpi. And if you need to, you can move this around, like if there's certain things that you want to include or whatever. I could have done resample canvas because that will resize everything for you too. But You have to constrain the proportions if you do that, so that doesn't really work for this situation. So I'm going to do this and click done. And now I can make my thumbnail. So I could just have these arrows here, but I'd like to put a little more effort than that into my thumbnail image, and you want to kind of show like what it is. So I'm going to kind of move these around so that I have somewhere in the middle that I can put some text. I'm going to merge some of these layers together since I'm at my max layer count right now. I just created a new layer, and now I'm going to write hand-drawn arrows. If you want to, you could do that with text, but since the whole thing is hand-drawn stuff anyways, I think it kind of makes sense to write it out. Of course, I like to have a little more color in my design, so I'll use some color here. You can also turn on your grid if that helps, so you can get everything straight. See, mine definitely is not straight. If we want to, we could maybe add like a little more of a background image, but I think this is pretty good. I'll just go with this. And now I'm going to click the wrench icon and do share. And I'll do PNG, save to files. And I'll put it in the same folder here and do save. Now we can upload it to Etsy. So I'm going to go to my web browser. Normally I would actually do this on my computer, so I would just like transfer the files and do it there. But I figured it would be easier to just do it on the iPad since we're already here anyways. So here we go. I'm going to go to my shop. Here's the shop manager, and I'm going to go to listings, and I'll do add a listing. And we're going to do a digital file. Who made it? I did. What is it? A finished product. When did you make it? Recently. And for the title, we want to make sure we use some good keywords that people would search for. So first of all, hand-drawn arrows is a good one. So we are going to put that. It's a PNG file. Someone might search for that. And they might search for instant download. So we can do that. And maybe also doodle. That's another one, like doodle arrows or doodle elements. So I think that's pretty good. We don't want to make it too long and like spammy, but I think that's a good length. And for the photos, we can click that, choose files, and this is where we're going to upload our thumbnail photo, and I'll do open. Now, if you want, you could do more thumbnail photos. So you could do some that have like just a single arrow so they can really see like very detailed, but I'll just put this because it's pretty straightforward. And the digital file, I'm going to click add file, choose files, and this is going to be the actual file that the customer is going to get. So this is going to be that zip file we made, arrows.zip. For the description, I'll write, this is a set of 19 hand-drawn arrows saved as transparent PNG files. They have a rough, textured quality. Perfect for adding a handmade detail to your design. Also, we can include the approximate size of our arrows. So if we go back to Procreate and go to our file that we have the arrows within this file, then we can go to Canvas and Canvas information, dimensions, and here we can see the pixel width and height. So we can say approximately this size for each arrow because they're not all the same exact size, but they fit within this box. We can say like approximately 1500 wide by 1000 high maybe. So I'm going to do that. So I'll go here and I'll say each arrow is approximately 1500 by 1000 pixels. Since it's just a single file, I'd probably make it like $2. And I'll say I have 100 of them, since really it's unlimited. For category, clip art and image files, I think makes sense. Craft type. So what are people going to use this for? I guess you could probably use it for all those things. We can add some tags. For shop section, let's not do that yet because this is only our second listing in the shop. Let's wait until we have more listings and then we'll know what we kind of want to categorize them into. For renewal, I'm putting mine on automatic and I'll do publish. Here's my listing and we can go view our shop. And there's my listing. Let me know when you make your listing because I would love to see it. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, as always, you can let me know in the comments or you can email me at heather@heathercash.com. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe so I know to make more videos like this. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.